officials is definitely our competitors. So
Which
the people
ones?
who are creating that environment are the same ones who are boycotting the election. So ideally, these are people who thrive in anarchy, there are people who thrive in chaos, and there are people who just want to precipitate a crisis that suits them. And they are very well known for that. And maybe even just to respond to my friend Edwin here, please stop every time we come to the show talking about Mwaura was in ODM. That is in the past.
It's a fact.
It's a broken marriage.
You are not going to run away from history.
It is a broken marriage. I am no longer part of your team,
so
and I'm
very
proud for that matter. And by the way, it is on record. When I moved from ODM, I went and met your party leader in his office on 25th of August last year. I did the honorable thing. So let us not keep on dwelling on that. I used to be a member. Thank you. God bless you. Let's move forward. I'm now family in Jubilee. And let me say this, that this country is important to all of us. And really, we cannot keep on canvassing about having two nations. If you want to secede, bring the question. Kenyans will still vote on it. But I can tell you for sure, I stand with Kenyans who, even in the same family, Mike, one supports Raila Odinga, the other one supports Uhuru Kenyatta, but they still want to live as a family. Kikuyus and Luos married together, they must be given a chance to live in this country. And I support Kenyans who are in Kisumu and who vote for Jubilee, and those who are in Central and vote for ODM. That is the Kenya we want. But we must not assume that those Kenyans sit down somewhere every morning to make a decision. They give us that responsibility as leaders to exercise that right on their behalf. And when we do not make the right decision for this country, the honors will not. But I also want to say this, that those people who decide that they can misuse the support they have from for those who vote for them, please remember that they don't have a monopoly over them. Matiba was there. He said no reform, no election. People moved on to Kibaki. And across the globe, even in Africa, that's what has happened. So it is a question of time. And after this election, because I believe that Kenya will stand, people will still have other leaders to choose between. It is not a monopoly that Isaac Mwaura will always be there. So let us exercise caution and know that it's like a seesaw. It cuts both ways. You cannot just bandy the issue of legitimacy as a ransom for this country, thinking that it is not going to affect you.
Right. I mean, it is basically very fallacious for you to impute that the people who support Raila Odinga are people who are being held in slavery as against their wishes. I mean, I support Raila Odinga of my own volition. It is not because I am being held under a spell. So these people, the opposition supporters are also grown-ups, and we agree that decisions can be made to change your support and loyalty. But people must understand there is a reason why people support certain people, because they stand for certain things. It is only the people who do not stand for anything who, change with the wind, like my brother Mwaura now. He makes it sound like it was such a bad place for him to be in ODM, yet it is what the platform that brought him to the fore. So we must understand. And you see, this discussion about the opponents, when Jubilee talk about opponents, you would think they are talking about Dida and Aukot, but they are not. All those times, and you can see even the change in tone, immediately the president leaves the so-called pulpit where he's going to say prayers. That same mouth that was sending prayers to God is the same thing that is making those remarks that are even more divisive than what he has said before even the prayers. We have the head of the Catholic Church in the world, the Pope himself, saying there is a need for dialogue in this country for us to be able to establish a level playing field for prior to the elections. But they don't want to hit that. And I know what they're doing. You see, Mike, I remember very well during the ICC trials, at least during the pre-trial phase, there was an attempt to place a lot of premium to some of the public pronouncements by Uhuru Kenyatta during that time, where he's recorded saying, for instance, oh, we are calling for peace, we are calling for peace. That is exactly what they are doing with these prayers. They're playing to a certain gallery. But behind the scenes, when they talk about violence, Mike, the violence that has been meted out, including yesterday in Lakisama,